मैं हूं चौधरी अजहर विल्सन टीवी और वेब न्यूज़ से लॉन्ग साइड मैनचेस्टर पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी हॉल में हम मौजूद हैं और मेरे साथ मेरे मावन आमिर खान है विल्सन टीवी और वेब न्यूज़ से। और यहाँ पर आज एक प्रोग्राम है जो मुनक्किद किया गया है कम्युनिटी के हवाले से, जिसमें तमाम पार्टियों को मदऊ किया गया है और जिसमें लेबर है, ग्रीन पार्टी है, लिबरल है, टोरी पार्टी है। तमाम के जो चेयरमैन है या कैंडिडेट्स हैं वो यहाँ पर होंगे और कम्युनिटी होगी, उसमें उनके सवाल जवाब होंगे और उनके बारे में बात की जाएगी। आमिर यहाँ पर बाकायदा विल्सन टीवी और वेब न्यूज़ की तरफ से मौजूद है और ये तमाम कवरेज कर रहा है, तो मैं आपका शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि आपने ये पहली कवरेज ली है।
वेलकम। चैट है तो आज मजा आएगा, क्वेश्चन आंसर भी होंगे इसमें, जिसमें ग्रीन पार्टी को आप मेंशन करना भूल गए थे और ब्रेक्सिट पार्टी का भी हमें उम्मीद है कि वो भी आएंगे। इंशाल्लाह मजा आएगा जी। कीप वाचिंग विल्सन टीवी और वेब न्यूज़।
गुड इवनिंग एंड अस्सलाम वालेकुम रिस्पेक्टेड गेस्ट। खुशामदीद, सद बिस्मिल्लाह जी आया न्यू भली करे आया बगैर रागले वाशात के केम शो नमस्कार एंड टॉप ऑफ ऑल वेलकम टू द हस्टिंग 2019 ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बाय प्रेस क्लब ऑफ पाकिस्तान UK and Europe। थैंक यू वेरी मच कमिंग डाउन।
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to all brother and sister. It's a great honor and the privilege for the meet all politicians for different parties. As a President Press of Pakistan, UK and Europe, I welcome to all you, and this is a unique occasion to have different parties, candidates coming in the committee and overhaul and answering their concern.
The regulations is very simple. We are just going to invite all the candidates. We are going to give them 4 minutes. They can speak and they can tell about their manifesto or explain everything. And after that, we are going to take the question and answer from the media and the audience. That will be, you will have 2 minutes to answer every question. So,
good evening and assalamu alaikum respected guest. खुशामदीद, सद बिस्मिल्लाह जी आया न्यू भली करे आया बगैर रागले वाशात के केम शो नमस्कार एंड टॉप ऑफ ऑल वेलकम टू द हस्टिंग 2019 ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बाय प्रेस क्लब ऑफ पाकिस्तान UK and Europe। थैंक यू वेरी मच कमिंग डाउन हियर। Press Club of Pakistan UK and Europe welcomes all of you for this hosting. This idea is to create awareness and interact between candidate and voters of the constituency. But before we formally open this discussion, we would like to start our program by the holy name of Allah and the most merciful, the most benevolent. May Allah guide all of us to the right path. Amen. I would now like to invite Mr. Mustafa Imtiaz to recite a few lines from the glorious Quran. Mustafa Imtiaz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين عانية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نسفت وإذا الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah. May God keep all of us under His blessing. Amen. Now we formally start this event by inviting the President of the Press Club of Pakistan, UK and Europe to say a few words to our respected guest. Please invite Mr. Chaudhry Arif Bandi.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to all brothers and sisters. It's a great honor and the privilege for the meet all politicians for different parties. As a President President of Pakistan, UK and Europe, I welcome to all you, and this is a unique occasion to have different parties, candidate coming in the committee and overhaul, and answering their concern as for them make up their mind. Whom do vote to for the coming election, general election. As a journalist, I think these elections are different to the other and crucial for the Great Britain, which will be determined over future. Again, I thankful to all our candidate and invitation, and the best of luck for your future. Thank you very much. Ivan sir.
Thank you, Ms. Mandi, for such kind words. And such hosting needs some guidelines, some rules, and also proper housekeeping. Now I would like to invite the man whose brainchild has created the Press Club of Pakistan, UK and Europe, and also this great event, the founder and the chairman of the Press Club of Pakistan, UK and Europe, currently the chief editor of Nawai Jang, Mr. Ijaz Afzal Sheikh. Mr. Ijaz Afzal Sheikh, please.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to say thank you all of you here to join us on this short notice hosting. We are going to start the program. For health and safety, the fire exit on my back side and the left side as well. Washrooms on the right hand side. There is another fire exit on your right hand side. Rules and regulations is very simple. We are just going to invite all the candidates. We are going to give them 4 minutes. They can speak and they can tell about their manifesto, explain everything. And after that, we are going to take the question and answer from the media and the audience. That will be, you will have 2 minutes to answer every question. So, may I call on stage first Conservative Party's Mr. Alan Saunders. Please welcome, sir. Of Labour Party, Mr. Muhammad Afzal Khan, I request them to come on stage. Liberal Democrat, Jackie Percy, please come on stage. And the Green Party, Aliza Tara. Have a pronounced line. Yes, and now it's over to Mr. Shadwal.
Just quickly, there is no personal like dislike, but we like to start with alphabetical order of their party. So, can we start with the Conservative? Is that okay?
First of all, good evening. My name is Aamir Saunders. I represent the Conservative Party here this evening. Now, just let me say, I'm not actually candidate for the candidate here in Gordon, Sebastian Lowe, not able to be with us tonight. Sadly, he doesn't have the information for my morning with us. I'm interested in, I'm a candidate, I am a genuine Conservative candidate. But events getting Brexit done so that we can unleash, let me say, Gordon's potential, as well as the rest of the country, by getting on with the things which really matter, so we can put in over 30 billion, 33.9 billion extra for the NHS, 20,000 extra police officers, more funding for every pupil in every school, so that every pupil, wherever he or she lives, will be entitled to a wonderful education. I just saw today in the Times a list of the top schools in the country, and there are many state schools which are really performing well, here in Manchester as well, private sector. And this is what we really need. We need to have more really good schools. The alternative to a Conservative majority, even if the Conservative Party win the most seats, that may well let in the Labour Party will probably then have the next most seats. They will form government with the help of the Lib Dems, the Greens, the SNP, etc. And what will then happen is we will make no progress with the country's priorities. There will be delay, chaos, confusion, dither. We're going to have another referendum, possibly even two referenda, because the SNP will demand a second referendum on Scottish independence. So we'll get bogged down with having a referendum. And let me just say something. People say, well, let's put it to a people's vote, Brexit and so on. The people have already voted. My friend, representing the Labour Party, stood on a manifesto 2 years ago that said he supports getting Brexit done. Now they're reading back from that and they want a referendum. If we have a referendum and it goes the other way, what's then going to happen? Are we going to have a third referendum, the best of three? What if it's very close? It's just a recipe for delay. The Liberal Democrats, they've got the word Democrat in their name, and yet they don't seem to be supporting the democratic view of the people which was to be used. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I know you said yes, I know this. I actually voted Remain in the referendum. But now I realise, okay, we lost, whatever the reason, we've now got to respect the results of that referendum. Once
next is the
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Sarkar, and Shalom. Can I start by really thanking all of you for being here this evening, giving us all the candidates the opportunity to address you and also to take questions from you. But I also want to thank the Press Club of Pakistan for actually putting effort in arranging for us to be here. It's our first hosting, and I'm sure there'll be many more. So I'm looking forward to more hostings. We're already missing George Galway.
No, we're not.
We were wondering where the boss has got to as well, and I've been assured that the boss isn't here as well now. Now for me, I suppose, first of all, I want to also thank actually many of the people who are Manchester Bolton residents for giving me the privilege and honor to be your MP the last 2.5 years. I can assure you I've been working hard. I've done about 13,000 cases in constituents development. With that, we have a very strong councillors team in Bolton as well. Delighted they're all Labour councillors and they all been working hard as well to serve you. And equally, regularly I've been holding advice surgeries, over 100 surgeries I already know. Visiting many events, sometime over a weekend, 10 events, so giving me the opportunity to meet lots of people. And I've also been running a coffee morning every month in different parts of Bolton. again, really for me to reach out to the community so that I can serve them better. Different media interviews in this period I've done as well. So I just want to say to you, I have been working hard. And if you give me the honor to be again a member of Parliament for Manchester, I'll carry on working hard. I promise you I will be listening and being as well. Now the second thing is about the election itself. This election, I really don't understand why the government has really called it, because if for them Brexit is the key thing, then first of all they've had 3.5 years. They've wasted those 3.5 years. They've not really done anything. And now the deal, which is supposed to be such a brilliant deal, they've got through the Parliament, it's gone through the second reading, and suddenly the government thought, we want to pause this deal, but we want election. Now if the Brexit is your agenda, and this is the election you're saying is a Brexit election, why did you pause when it's actually going ahead? And then the second thing is, if the deal is so brilliant, why haven't you allowed the normal processes to make assessment of this deal? What is the impact of this deal on Britain? We have economic assessments. We've had them in the past. The deal which is made, the assessment was done. So what is it that you're trying to hide? Why are you not allowing this economic assessment to take place? If you think it's brilliant. Because all the rest of us are saying this deal is rubbish. It's worse than the deal Theresa May brought. And in many ways, it's the deal that they voted against, many of them, including the Prime Minister. So there's a deep issue about Brexit, and I think the policy of the Labour Party is the right one. Because on the one hand, what you have is the Conservative Party saying they want to do this, they don't care what the consequences are. And on the other side, I think, is the extreme, is the Liberal Democrat policies. I'm sure we will hear from Jackie how brilliant that idea is. But for me, fundamentally, the problem is that there was a referendum, and in that referendum, we basically had that result, and we haven't done anything with that. If you want to basically revoke that, I don't think that's sensible. Labour's position is very simple, and that is that we will make a better deal, and we will put it back to the people to decide whether they will accept that deal or they want to remain. So the choice, we want to give it back to the people, and this we think is the best way of bringing Britain together. The danger otherwise is the issue of Northern Ireland peace, and of course the Scotland issue as well. I'll stop at that. There will be many more questions, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, this is the second election in 3 years where we've been given an opportunity to change our government, to change our MPs, but we've not been allowed to have an opportunity to change our mind as to whether or not the Brexit that is being produced by the government is anything like what was promised during the referendum campaign. Now, as Liberal Democrats, we tried 17 times to get a people's vote through Parliament to actually give people a chance to vote on the deal. And 17 times, Parliament voted against it, including, it has to be said, the Labour Party. And in fact, when we eventually gave up and said, all right then, let's have a general election, the Labour Party then said, no, we'd rather have a referendum. So we had an attempt number 18, which also was rejected. Now the fact is Brexit is a very important issue because it affects the whole way in which this country is interacting with our neighbours. Now for the last 45 years, we have been encouraged as a nation to trade with our European partners. To suddenly bring that to an end will be one of the most economically damaging things we could ever do. Now what we're saying is if we win outright, we'll revoke Article 50. Otherwise we will do our utmost within Parliament to bring a people's vote so that we actually have a chance to see if the Brexit that is being offered bears any relation at all to what was being promised during the referendum. Because it really doesn't. And the damage that it can do is on a whole raft of other issues as well. We're in the middle of a climate emergency. We need to be working with our European partners to actually ensure that Europe becomes carbon free. Now we're saying we're wanting to work for the whole of Europe to be carbon free by 2045. And in Britain, we want to make sure that 80% of our energy is from renewables by 2030. Make sure new homes are carbon neutral. And basically do everything we can to make sure that future generations don't fry on this world, and that people can carry on eating and people can carry on living a decent standard of living. Because this climate emergency is desperate. And we're also going to be, fact is, if we do revoke Article 50, the Institute of Fiscal Studies has agreed that there will be, over the next Parliament, a £50 billion Remain bonus, which we can actually spend on the infrastructure that we need. £1 billion to make sure that every single ward gets 2 new police officers. We can start tackling mental health issues properly, on a parity with physical health issues. All these things need investment. But we also want to make sure that this country stays the sort of country that I've always been proud of. A country that is inclusive, a country that is tolerant, a country that welcomes people to our shores who want to come and work and contribute in our society. The damage that is being done to our political discourse with the Brexit thing has been really damaging our communities and tearing us apart. That's not the sort of country I want to live in. I want to live in a country where people can have freedom of movement, where people can come here and open businesses, where people seeking asylum are allowed to earn a living and pay taxes while they're waiting for their cases to be looked at. I want a better Britain. I really think that the only way in which we can get a good, just, tolerant and prosperous society is via a Liberal Democrat government. Thank you.
It's really telling to see other parties talking about the climate emergency. Some of them perhaps only quite recently. Whereas we have actually been looking and working on this issue for a number of years. We were the architects and the originators of the Green New Deal, which we started working on 10 years ago. We have the expertise in our parties to tackle this crisis. You will hear other parties talking about the Green New Deal. We welcome that business. We want to collaborate with people, but it's wrong if you think that any other party, the Green Party, are equipped to deliver transformation with the challenge of climate change. The Green New Deal commits us to spending £100 billion over 10 years. We're going to get this money from doing things which we don't need. For example, we would cancel Trident. We would cancel the HS2 project. We would also borrow money from public investment in the economy and to use that money over 10 years to produce the most radical change to our economy that we have ever seen in this country. Don't be complacent. We know that the climate emergency demands the level of response that perhaps the Second World War did. We need to take this incredibly seriously. We don't have time to mess around. We commit to zero carbon emissions by 2030. That's in 11 years' time. This is what all the experts are telling us we need to do to avert a catastrophe. Labour was to zero carbon emissions up until recently, but I think just this last week, they've rolled back and now saying we will look at this, we'll make this zero emissions target by 2050. We do not have time. The world will not wait for this. If we think that Brexit is the most important issue this election, I think we are being sold. Nothing that happens in this next election is going to solve the Brexit deadline. We have to do it. This is a general election. It's about gentlemen issues. It's about the economy. It's about housing. It's about transport. We need to make all of these things sustainable. We need to do it fast. Labour do agree with some of the direction of these policies, but they are not moving fast enough. We have to the scale of these challenges. And the Green Party have been working hard on this for a long time. We have your support to share in a better future with us and actually support the vision of the Green New Deal and the policies that we have worked on for some time. So I'm going to talk about Brexit because clearly it is at the top of the list for the parties who have made it a priority to talk about. I've said already that I don't think Brexit is going to be solved by the election. The only way to heal the division in society, and I agree with some earlier comments that I've heard, there is some really nasty side effects of the divide and conquer politics that we've seen from some of the main parties. Racism is on the rise, intolerance, and inclusion. We cannot allow this to happen. We need to come together. The only way to look at Brexit issue, to resolve it, because you know what? Brexit's not going to be done next year, the year after that, the year after that. Whatever comes out of this election will not be done. The only way to move on to the more serious things that are challenging us, facing us, is to put this back to the people. Let the people decide. Do not support the vote, because I think that would be a slap in the face if you voted to leave. This has to be resolved by a democratic process of a single issue. This is the only fair way to resolve Brexit. So we support the vote, and we also support the main position in that. But it's up to you to decide. And we can tell you what the answer is. Only you can tell us what we should do with Brexit. Whatever happens as a result of that referendum, we will implement that. We will campaign for it because we believe that staying in the EU is the best way to work with us in climate and security matters to actually make the serious changes that we need to make now. Can't wait.
People are questioning me also why the Brexit party can do it. Please, start with drilling down. Right. So, anybody would like to question, raise your hand, I'll bring the mic to you guys and on the hot seat with the live. So, let's start with Ohri. Thank you, everyone. My question is to the Green Party. In this city, I'm responsible for.
He said, even if they look like letterboxes. Now, I don't deny he said that, and it was perhaps an unfortunate thing to say. It's the sort of thing that perhaps a certain kind of, person from a certain background might have said in a common room. Do you remember when Prince Philip once said the Chinese have slitty eyes? I'm sure he regretted it, and, is he actually Chinese? No, of course he's not. It's the sort of way a certain type of person speaks. Do I think it was a silly thing to say? Yes, of course I do. Should he apologise and clarify his remarks? Yes. But the important thing is to remember, actually, he supported the right to wear a hijab, or Jewish people to wear a skull cap, or Sikhs to wear the turban. And that, I think, is the most.
Thank you, Ramaz. I've got something here which may help Rabbi Saunders actually to clarify his remarks on this. So first point I would say is, any form of discrimination against any group is not acceptable. And we should all basically join up together to work against limiting this. The difficulty we are finding with this is that Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister of this country. And the difficulties we are facing with that is it is not once that he's done something like this. And it's not that against one group that he's done that. He's got a track record of attacking different groups, which I think is not helpful. So if I just share just one or two, there's about 8 I've got here. It says, for example, Islam is inherently inhibits the path of progress and freedom. Another time he said, the problem is Islam. Islam is the problem. This is his words, not mine. And then I can give you one more. If you tell me that the burqa is oppressive, then I am with you. So there's about half a dozen more where he said. So I think that's one point. The second is he's been approached again and again to basically withdraw these remarks and accept that it is wrong. Then the third problem I think we've got here is a party. There's been systematical examples where these issues have been happening, and yet the party doesn't want to hold an independent inquiry, even at the stage when the leadership was taking place. All of them accepted that they will actually do this, and they're just moving back again. So this, I think, is the difficulty for many people, having a prime minister with such a track record, but still not willing to apologize.
I think question should be for everyone, just on that. Well, should he apologise? Absolutely. But not just for this, and not the sort of apology that we hear too often nowadays of, if someone was offended by what I said, then I apologise for that. What he has said demands proper apologies. But his words have been appalling against everyone. His sexism is appalling. And it's telling that one of his top insults against people is that they are in some way girly. Now, what's wrong with being a girl? What's wrong with being female? He's been homophobic. That's another of his go-to insults when he's falling out with somebody. He's been appallingly racist against people from Africa. He's been Islamophobic. He hasn't been caught being anti-Semitic yet, but I'm not sure that that's more of a matter of by his judgment or just by simple fact he hasn't written any of it down. The simple fact is that he is not fit to be Prime Minister. And we also need a Prime Minister who has a better relationship with the truth. The fact is, a serial liar, a serial insulter, and a bloke who actually thinks he has the right to tell women what they should and shouldn't wear has no business being in 10 Downing Street.
wasn't right for anyone to vote them and anything, so I think he supports his right to insult people if they're not exactly like him. And let's remember he went to Husting when many of us like him were reporting about it. So I actually believe that Boris Johnson is guilty of misconduct in public office. He shouldn't be taken to task, he shouldn't be reviewed. That's clearly not going to happen because we have a lot of right-wing media in this country. That's the level of his lies and dishonesty that I believe he displays and has been protected.
Hi, good evening to all. My question to Captain, elections are meant to be interests where voters have interest in a party. How can voter interest into democracy? Very important reason. One, to let us down when you turn on fees. I have my 3 daughters, and each of them now have a fee, and each of them now around 14,000 pounds. Thanks to you and these your publishers with the Conservative Party. My second part of my question is, how can you trust a leader of your party always voting with the Conservative Party? Today we are suffering the poor people of the society, the universal credit, the VIP, the disability, a lot of this, and thanks to your leader, current leader, she voted for against this. Thank you.
Right. Well, the first thing to remember is the first U-turn that happened on fees was when the Labour government came in 1997, promising that under no circumstances would any sort of tuition fees be brought in, and then immediately, within a year, had brought in tuition fees. There's a long history of this. Now, the thing about 2010, both the Conservative and Labour Party had committed to implementing in full Lord Brown's report on funding for the universities. And to remind you what Lord Brown came out with, it was unlimited upfront fees, and people would start paying them back pretty much as soon as they reached the level of the minimum wage. Now that was not acceptable, and as a party we had a choice, and it was a difficult choice. We could simply sit on our hands, stay politically pure, and watch the future opportunities for young people in this country being destroyed by the appalling recommendations of Lord Brown's report. Or we could use our voting strength, which was not very great. Remember, we didn't win the 2010 election, and in order to make it better than it would have been had we not taken those steps, we decided to make it better rather than try to have some badge of political purity. That may be seen as a mistake, but the fact is, as a result of it, the tuition fees are not upfront, they're not unlimited, they are not paid back until people at least reach a wage that might reflect the fact that they have a degree. I've got to earn 21,000 or more, which is far better than what would have happened had we not done that. Now, sometimes in politics you actually have to make decisions and go for something that isn't ideally what you would wish to do, but you've got to try and make something better than it would be if you sat on your hands and says, we're not going to vote for this. Because both Labour and the Conservatives were dedicated to putting the whole of Lord Brown's report through. And that, it was in the 2010 Labour manifesto. I've actually still got it. And that was a very bad thing. The thing about what is happening now is effectively it's turning into a graduate tax by another name. However, we would want to bring back maintenance grants for poor students to ensure that poverty isn't stopping people going to university. As far as the leader's concerned, she actually took seriously, as Boris Johnson hasn't, the idea that when you're in government you do have to have collective responsibility in voting. And that ended up voting for things that she disagreed with, but in terms of improving energy and other such like, wind farms that we brought in. We brought in a lot of renewable energy. We made the Conservatives vote for a lot of things that they wouldn't normally have voted for. And can I also mention raising the threshold of income tax is another issue which the Conservatives would never have voted for if we hadn't insisted, plus the pupil premium and free school meals for the infant school children. It's not ideal, unfortunately. That's what happens when you're actually having to make decisions in politics. But remember, in 2010 there wasn't really a choice. Labour made it clear they weren't interested in taking control and clearing up the mess that they'd helped make with their economy. They really weren't. And there was only one way to do it. It was a hard choice. We have learned lessons. I think it's fair to say we're not going to do that again. But then again, I would hope that the Labour Party won't go to war in places like Iraq again. You know, we've all made mistakes. That's part of what you get when you actually are part of government. So we've learned from them, and we'll make sure we don't do it again.
One of the worst delegates ever seen by the
Okay,
why are you not like Labour Party saying that you will leave?
Right. I was 21 years as a councillor in this constituency, and a lot of my time was helping people fill out forms. They'd fill out one form for one benefit, then they'd be back the following week with another form for another benefit, a third form for a third benefit. All different, all asking the same questions, but all putting the same, asking for different information. Now the principle of sending in one set of forms and actually getting what you're entitled to is something I support, having seen the misery that that previous system was causing. But we're going to make sure universal credit works. We're going to put enough money in to get rid of the fact that it was used to smuggle in a cut and benefits, and that's what was wrong. We're also going to get rid of the 5-week wait, so that people get their benefits within 5 days, because it's absolutely absurd that people should be waiting for 5 weeks for money which they desperately need. So the first thing to do is actually put enough money in the system to make sure that everybody on universal credit has a decent life.
I would really like to, may I answer your question?
Anyone should.
Thank you, that took quite a long time now. A little bit, slightly off topic, we'll forgive me.
Let's answer the question.
So, tuition fees. The Green Party will scrap tuition fees, which is possible as a simple answer. Okay, we support young people. We know they are the future. We know that they are the future of changing the climate catastrophe to something positive. So we support them. As for universal credit, that can't be rescued. It is an absolutely disastrous policy. It's putting people into real hardship and it should be immediately scrapped. What we want to do is we have a plan, it's a detailed plan, it's part of the Green New Deal, which is to simplify benefits completely. We will replace the contested benefit system with universal basic income, which means that everybody, every single person in this country will receive £89 a week as a basic income, regardless of their situation. This has been trialled and tested in other countries successfully, and we've seen benefits of this. It actually reduces other social problems and actually makes a really positive uplift in addressing some of the social issues in this country. We also want to simplify tax. So none of this like changing the levels of national insurance, changing your income tax, and tweaking the levels of it, and the wealthy going away and sort of hiding their money in other funds or avoiding other taxes. We're going to create a transparent tax system where your NI and your income tax will be combined and you will be paying no more ED today, but it will make it a lot simpler and it will close the loopholes where the wealthy and landowners are getting away with slashing their money, not paying tax.
Going back, before I do that, actually, I just wanted to say something. When I saw that, I want you to really defend Boris Johnson, and he is capable of defending himself, so I don't have an issue on that point. But there is a point which is linked to Ravana's question, and that actually is the definition Islamophobia. We've had the APPG, British Muslims, who have worked for nearly a year. Hundreds and hundreds of organizations, and the Muslim community itself has accepted this definition. Many councils have accepted this definition. All political parties, including the Scottish Conservative Party, have accepted the definition. Do you think, you personally, that and the party should, as a Conservative Party, should accept this definition? I think we should answer that. Now, on the question which we have, I think the first question at the heart of it is the question of trust idea. And I think whichever party it is, trust is important. I think there's been a damage to this idea of trust in politics, and all political parties are losers as a result of this. So we all have a responsibility to work to build this trust. On the fees itself, I think there are two issues. First of all, I think Tech is right that the Labour Party did introduce the 3,000. But I think the issue ultimately why people attack Lib Dem is the way they used publicly as the idea that this is they were against. They all signed it publicly. And then 3 times to take it to 9,000, so people find it painful, which I think is just, it's important that we acknowledge that. And the second, I think the point which is linked to this is, many of these austerity policies that we probably will be discussing maybe down the road, the Lib Dem went in bed with the Tories, so they are also responsible for those austerity policies which then took place. So I think we have to also accept that. Now, on as said by the Green Party, I think it's the same position as for the Labour Party, that we will abolish tuition fees. We will reintroduce maintenance grants for students, and we want to make sure, actually, this whole idea of education, the cuts that have been there, that they are brought back in, so that the children's future, whether it's the show star, maybe thousands have been closed, that need to be opened again, and we'll be offering those 30 hours between students, young children between 2 to 4. So I think there'll be a lot that we will be offering for the young people to make sure that they can get on in life.
Thank you, Assad. Firstly, on your first comment about the APPG transfer, I would love to support a definition on Islamophobia activity on that. The problem is, as I understand it, and I don't pretend to be an expert on it, but my understanding is that the reason that the Conservative Party and the government, if you like, have stalled and not actually adopted it is on advice that the wording needs tweaking. Now, I can't tell you exactly how it needs tweaking, but apparently the advice is that it needs tweaking to ensure that we don't throw away the baby with the bathwater and stopping, for example, the security services doing their work against genuine terrorists. I know Hassan has absolutely the same view as I do on terrorism. I don't know who want to get rid of terrorism, whether it's so-called Islamic terrorism or whatever.
And the state terrorism I want to get rid of, personally.
Okay.
There are actually some countries.
Okay. This is my understanding. As I say, I have no evidence. This is my understanding. This is the reason that it was not adopted, because it does need tweaking to ensure that it doesn't cause the security services, whatever it would be, problems when it comes, in fact, indeed, to our international obligation of countering terrorism. But I would love to be able to say, yes, this is now acceptable, and to adopt, as we have done on anti-Semitism, so you know, to adopt a protocol on Islamophobia. Can I just say also on this, again, in terms of some of the things that we're talking about, Boris Johnson is right, he can speak for himself. I'd rather speak about policies, but for example, one of the candidates said Boris Johnson was elected by about 100,000 people. Well, now is the opportunity for everybody to have their say. Boris Johnson has gone to the country after now is the opportunity for everybody to be able to give their opinion on Boris. And if people don't like him, well, this is the opportunity to vote against him. Certainly at the moment the polls are not showing that. And by the way, just to kind of come back to Brexit for a moment, other candidates, particularly the Greens and the Conservatives, have spoken passionately about Brexit. I would like to ask them if, for example, Boris now gets a majority, our party gets a majority, will you accept that that is almost like a referendum on Brexit? Because, for example, the Lib Dems have said they want to revoke Article 50. Well, you know, if people reject the Lib Dems at the ballot box, surely that is rejecting their policy of revoking Article 50. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say again, even if we do have a second referendum, do you really think that's the way to heal the country? By blasting upon all the people that voted leave? I don't think that's going to heal the country, to be quite honest. So, finally, on the tuition fees, this might sound a little naive, but I remember very well, when tuition fees were first brought in, the government did not expect the vast majority of university colleges to charge the full 9,000. They assumed, you know, it might have been slightly naive, but they assumed the vast majority would charge much less. It would only be the most expensive courses that would charge 9,000. And what happened was virtually everybody did, which did come as a little surprise to the government. Perhaps it shouldn't, you know.
So why haven't they done something about it for so many years? If it surprised them that they didn't expect this. It's not something recent. It's been there for a number of years. So why hasn't the government done something about it?
Well, let me just say something again about tuition fees. A lot of the students who have to, you know, pay the tuition fees go on to become highly paid doctors, solicitors, accountants, researchers, whatever it may be. And really, it's not a lot to ask for them to pay back.
So you're saying it's okay then?
I'm saying